What's going on, guys? Welcome to Everything Always. My name's Michael Roman, aka Allfires. Now, if you somehow missed the bombshell breaking news from Variety last night, Marvel and Disney have officially delayed Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars to December of their respected years. So we're still getting Doomsday next year, Secret Wars in 2027. It's just that we're getting them 7 months later, and I think everyone who had a take last night had basically the same take. This was probably going to be the case always. They didn't have enough time to shoot these movies. And on top of that, it's a good thing because it gives them more time to cook. Well, what got buried was another huge bombshell story yesterday because it sounds like cooking is exactly what Marvel Studios is doing. And that came from a trusted industry insider where we're getting a brand new and beloved Marvel character in the very next Avengers film. We're breaking it all down, where this came from and what they exactly said about Ghost Rider joining the MCU before the end of the Multiverse Saga. But first, if you could grab the subscribe button, guys, thanks to everyone who's been helping grow the channel and the community. And if you haven't already subscribed, I would just kindly invite you to do so. It's the number one thing you can do to support us as content creators here at the channel. Plus, it enters you for the giveaways if you want. Stick around to the end of the video. We get into that giveaway stuff again there. Okay, so this latest story broke in the last 24 hours, but pretty much got buried by the huge news last night, and it comes from trusted industry insider Jeff Sneider. Now, you guys may be familiar with him from his own editorial, The Insider, but he's been rather ubiquitous over the last 2 years with Marvel Scoops over on the Hot Mike podcast. That's where he dropped this bit of knowledge, and again, this is the same guy who nailed Robert Downey Jr. playing Doctor Doom 2 months before Marvel Studios announced it. So take that as you will, but at least some of his sources are in the know, and he revealed yesterday that Marvel Studios is currently casting for Ghost Rider, and then went on to say, quote, "And that's for Doomsday. I'm hearing Ghost Rider is going to be in Doomsday." Now, a lot of the casting rumors we've heard in the last couple of months, specifically for the X-Men, but other things as well in Marvel, a lot of the genesis point for this is Jeff Sneider, but there is another industry insider who is extremely active when it comes to casting grids and those sort of leaks, and that's Daniel RPK. So I'm not saying we're giving any less reverence to what Jeff Sneider is saying, but if we also see Daniel RPK in the next couple of weeks talking about a Ghost Rider casting grid, well, then it'll be a lot more believable. For now, we're going to take him at his word that they're currently casting for the character, and the only name in Hollywood that's really thrown his name in the ring to play the Ghost Rider character was Ryan Gosling. Back almost 2 years ago, when he was rumored to be playing the Nova character and asked about that in an interview, he said he had no idea, but that the character he'd like to play was Ghost Rider. And then 2 months after that, when Kevin Feige was told about that quote at a red carpet interview, he said that if Ryan Gosling wanted a place in the universe, they would find one for him. Well, now fast forward 2 years later, and apparently Ghost Rider is ready to make his debut, and it'll be interesting to see if Gosling, who's working on a Star Wars movie right now with Disney, is also interested in joining the MCU the way that Pedro Pascal is doing over time as both the Mandalorian and obviously as Reed Richards. Now, the introduction of Ghost Rider for Secret Wars is kind of like a really cool add-on, but we already knew Ghost Rider's introduction for the MCU was imminent. Regardless of how Blade has been put on pause or they haven't been able to get things straight, one thing has remained, that a Midnight Suns project is still in the works and being eyed for the next saga, meaning eventually when we get to the Midnight Suns, Ghost Rider would obviously find a way onto this roster. And so Marvel Studios may be thinking ahead here and saying, look, if we know we're introducing Ghost Rider somewhere down the road, why don't we go ahead and get him involved for Secret Wars? Now, obviously this means the omission of Nick Cage's Ghost Rider, and I know about every 6 months some rumor pops up that Nicolas Cage would be returning to reprise his role as Ghost Rider for Avengers Secret Wars, and I don't blame anybody who buys into that because obviously we've seen a lot of these actors returning and we're continuing to. That's the whole theme here of the Multiverse Saga is, hey, look who's back in the role as a superhero. But when it comes to Nick Cage's Ghost Rider, he's pretty busy already shooting Spider-Man Noir's live action thing over on Amazon. He has other stuff in the works. I do not see him coming back as Ghost Rider. Rather, this is one of those instances where Marvel Studios is going to look to the new and early on, where we'll get older Fox versions of the X-Men characters, and recent rumors have said we will not see any new X-Men castings during the Multiverse Saga. That's all for after the fact. This is a totally different thing. Ghost Rider is a one-off that could end up on the Midnight Suns or in the future of the MCU down the road. My guess here is that wherever the story has led them so far, they found a really good use for a character, or specifically Ghost Rider's character, and well, they own the rights. They can do whatever they want. Why not throw some of these new superheroes into Doomsday? Now, as we've talked about this at the channel before. The Russos were always very cautious to sort of wade into the cameo for the sake of cameos. Yes, these are the guys who introduced both Spider-Man and Black Panther to the MCU in Civil War in the same film, but there were a lot of instances in Infinity War and Avengers Endgame when characters were considered, like the Living Tribunal, and they just went away from that. They didn't just throw Adam Warlock or Silver Surfer in the mix for the sake of it. They kept it pretty much already involving the story of the characters that we had leading up to that. And yeah, we may have seen the odd one-off like Eitri the Dwarf, but that doesn't mean we were going to ever see Ghost Rider or Silver Surfer or Eternity or the Living Tribunal. We would see those characters later in the MCU, but the Russos didn't just cash them in for the sake of it. I'm thinking their thinking is the same here. Remember, this casting announcement just for the first round was already the most mind-blowing thing you can imagine. Trying to write dialogue and a meaningful story for this many characters is already a trick. I am just a little shocked that they would even wade into brand new characters, but that also leads to the fun of it all, and I think that fans are expecting this to be a different experience. So again, while it already seems like a full enough house with all the characters they've got and have yet to be announced that we know are coming for these films, throwing in some new characters too is super exciting, and I can't wait to see the names they end up locking down for these roles, because in some cases, say like a new Ghost Rider casting, that's going to be for the future of the MCU, presumably the next 10 or so years. And while I really wonder what Mahershala Ali would be thinking about all of this if his Blade isn't involved in these two films, but Ghost Rider, who hasn't been sitting on the sidelines for 5 years, gets cast and then gets featured in both of them, but that is a great way to add a lot of backstory and value to a character in Ghost Rider, presumably to add that value to the Midnight Suns team-up movie down the road. And I know Blade has been stalled out as long as it has been, reportedly canceled, reportedly paused. Until Mahershala Ali officially walks away from the project has a chance. If and when Mahershala Ali officially walks away from that project, well, then we'll have a different discussion in that video. In the meantime, who should play Ghost Rider? You like Ryan Gosling for the role, or do you have a different actor in mind? And no, we don't know which version of Ghost Rider, which of course might inform the actor, but we'll have to wait and see in that case. In any case, if it's any of the versions, you guys let me know who the actor should be. Quickly, let's get into the giveaway stuff before I let you go. Alright, we are still giving away PS5s here at the channel for all the Marvel drops this year. Super simple to be entered to win. All you gotta do, hit the sub button, leave a comment down below. Because it's truly random, the more videos you comment on, the better chance you have of winning. If you should ever get some spam comments of people claiming to be me or any other content creator, just report them directly to YouTube. The best way to keep up with the content has always been to hit the notification bell with all notifications turned on. And as always, if you like today's video, I'd appreciate it if you'd hit the like button. My name's Michael Roman. You can find me in a couple of places, Instagram and Twitter at IamFires. You can find me on all other platforms under the name AllFires. And while I sincerely appreciate you checking my music out, thanks for checking this channel out. Stick around. We'll be posting again real soon.